forward. And just bring yourself into a good postured seat, good postured position. You can have your head stacking over your shoulders, which are stacking over your hips. And then just close your eyes for a moment. Take your focus inside. See what you can feel. And bring all of your awareness into your breathing. So send it down into your belly. Nice deep belly breaths. We're moving away from a new moon. We had a new moon on Sunday. That was the darkest night. I think tonight we should start to see a little sliver of moonlight, a little sliver of light on the moon. So this is prime time to think about what you'd like to grow, what you'd like to build, what you would like to see rise up or blossom into your life over the next 2 weeks. So let's just start to kind of filter through some of those thoughts, ideas, images, feelings, like how's it going to feel to embody more patience, or how's it going to feel to make an extra sale, or like whatever it is you're trying to build, what's that going to feel like in your body? What are the thoughts in your mind that you can just draw up about it? Part of making things happen for ourselves, I think, really comes from that clear idea of what we want. So with this extra kind of clarity around the new moon, just bring something to mind that you'd like to see grow. Doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be small, it doesn't have to be anything, I don't know, anything like fancy. It can just be, I'm going to be more present this 2 weeks. Check back in with your posture as you have some of these thoughts and reflect over some of these things. Just make sure that you are setting yourself up for success in your body. Got shoulders back and down, spine stacked up nice and tall. And start to move your head a little bit. Can drop your chin towards your chest and sweep it from side to side. You can bobble back and forth, ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. You just take your pick. Sometimes around the new moon, it's a little bit tougher to get going because there's so much darkness in the sky. It just takes a little extra to get our bodies and minds to wake up and get moving in the morning. So we'll start off our day by moving through all of our joints. Let's take one more little swivel from side to side. And then bring your head back up nice and tall. We'll place our hands on our shoulders. So we make little wings with our elbows and take some big, gigantic circles with your elbows around your shoulders. Again, remember, just the intention is to move the joints. Motion is lotion. Let's change the direction of those circles. See if you can, what your full range of motion is today. Just simply moving the joints inspires the production of synovial fluid in your joint cavity. So even just the motion is really good. Good. Let's relax our arms down. Give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle, shake it out. Then hold your hands out in front of you. Make some big dramatic circles with your wrists. Let's change the direction of those circles. Notice what you feel. If you feel any like snags or any, I don't know, bone poppy sounds or feelings. Change directions as it feels appropriate. Awesome. Then let's put our hands down on either side of our body and take some bends with our spine from side to side. So we'll start with the right hand down, take your left arm up and over, big reach, big lean, and just go back and forth, one side over to the other. Just encouraging movement through your spine. We have a lot going on in earth signs right now today. We've got the moon in Virgo, Mercury in Virgo, and Venus in Virgo. This brings emphasis to our bones, to our structures, to our solid parts and pieces. So by starting a little bit of movement of all of our joints, I think is just good for our bones. Let's do one more to either side. And then come back up to center. Let's change the order of our legs. So the back shin comes around to the front. And then twist. Bring your right hand over to your left knee. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, look back over your left shoulder. Move back through center. Switch sides, left hand, right knee. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, twist, looking over your right shoulder. Come back through center, bring your chest forward towards your shins. Take a little bit of movement from side to side. Just bringing some movement into the low back. Awesome. Work your way back up through a tall spine and then crawl over your legs. We're going to come into a tabletop position. Stack up your bones and we'll move our spine through cats and cows. So we'll wave it up and down. Again, as we take these movements, just think about your bones shifting. The muscles around your bones, lengthening, stretching, opening, letting go of any patterns that might be stuck there. So your bones can move a little bit more freely. Even though they're rigid, they're solid, we can lean on them and count on them and be supported by them. We still want them to have a little bit of freedom, a little bit of wiggle room. Take one more inhale and exhale. And find our way back down to neutral. We're gonna move through our hip sockets a little bit to get those joints warmed up. So lift up your right knee, point it over to the right side of the room. A couple of really dramatic circles with your knee around your hip socket. See how far you can take your range of motion. Change the direction of your circles. I'd extend your right leg out long behind you. Cross your toes over to the left side of your mat. Start to look around your left shoulder for your heel. Take your right leg back to center. So your leg is lifted. It's above, it's parallel with the ground. We're going to take our left hand forward. So we have right leg reaching back, left hand reaching forward. Find your belly button, pull it in towards your organs, and then it spread out from there. So reach from your belly button forward, reach from your belly button backward. And then we're going to bend our right leg, reach our left hand back towards the right ankle, try to make contact. Awesome. Spread back out, take your hand forward, your heel backward, and then bring everything back down to the ground. Let's switch over to the left side. Lift up your left knee so it points over to the left side of the room. Take a couple dramatic circles with your knee around your hip socket. Change the direction of your circles. Good. Extend your leg long towards the wall behind you, and then drop your toes down to the right side of your mat. Look around your right shoulder for your heel. Open up your left side body. Come back to center. Take your left leg back behind you. Reach your right hand forward. Scan your body. Make sure you're not dumping into your left arm. We're expanding out from our belly button. And then bend your left knee. Take your right hand back behind you. Make that connection between foot and hand. And then extend, reach out, and come back down to the ground. Hands and knees on the mat. Let's walk our knees apart a little bit so they move towards the edges of the mat. We'll flow between child's pose and cobra. So let's sink our hips back down to our heels. For us, back towards the back of the mat. And then just start to pull your way forward. Bring your hips to the floor. Press down into your palms, lift your chest up, take a breath in for cobra, and then exhale back to your child's pose. And just to go through this little flow a couple times on your own. You can use your breath as a guide as much or as little as you would like. And again, we're really just focusing on your bones, your solid structures. Notice how they move. Notice how the muscles around them stretch and lengthen. After the next cobra, instead of going back to child's pose, let's push into our first downward facing dog of the day. Take your hips up and back. Find some movement with your feet. Press down into both of your heels. Press your palms down to the ground. Press your chest back towards your thighs. And then step or hop your feet forward towards your hands. Take a halfway lift with an inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain pose, reach up for the ceiling. Big, tall, reach, big, tall stretch, fill your lungs all the way up. And then exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Extended mountain pose. Inhale, stretch upward. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. One more standing sun. Inhale, root to rise, reach up high. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. High plank, take your feet back, exhale. Take an in-breath into your plank. And then out-breath, move to downward facing dog. If you'd like to flow, then flow. From your down dog, take a breath in. Take a breath out. Bring your feet back to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain root rise, reach up high for the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. High plank, take your feet back, exhale. Breathe into plank pose. Breathe out, find downward facing dog. From down dog, take a breath in. Take a breath out. Step or hop to your hands. One more Sunday. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Extended mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High plank, take your feet back. Take a breath into your plank. And then out, move to downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Step or hop to your hands. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Utkatasana, bend down into your legs, sit low, sit low, sit low, then take your hands up over your head. Take a breath in, reach through your fingers. Take a breath out, fold your way forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to fold. Utkatasana, sit down low. Breathe in, reach up high. On your exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. One more time, Utkatasana. We're gonna hold this one. So come down low into your legs. Since we'll be here for some breaths, check in with your whole body. Scan, make sure your knees are pulled back, so they're stacking mostly on your ankles. They tend to want to stick out over the toes. See if you can sit down a little deeper, if you can reach up a little bit higher, pull your belly button in. Let's bring our hands together at heart center and turn to the right. Bring your left arm over to your right leg. Take your time, feel into your feet so you can play with your solid foundation. After your feet feel established, then really focus on pressing into your palms. Let's come back to center. We're gonna step our left foot back into a warrior one. So plant into your right foot and take your left foot back behind you. Your hands are still at heart center. Back foot is flat. Left toes pointing over to like 9 or 10 o'clock. Then interlace your hands down by your tailbone. Press your knuckles downward towards the ground, lengthening your arm bones behind you. And we're just gonna be here and breathe in our warrior one for a couple breaths. Unclasp our hands, but keep our hands down by our sides, palms facing forward. We're gonna move from here into a warrior three. So kind of that airplane variation. You can turn your toes forward and then lift off, reaching backward through your fingertips. Pressing your palms down towards the ground, almost like they're on an imaginary surface behind you. Then let's find our Utkatasana, hands to heart center, sit down low into your legs. Take a moment, feel into your feet, into your legs, into your foundation. Make that really strong. And then we'll turn to the left. Bring your right arm to your left leg. And then really focus on pressing into your palms, so your chest becomes really active. Come back to center, hands made at our heart. Press into your palms so your chest is still engaged. And then slowly take your right leg back for warrior one. Set your foot on the ground, realign. So your ears are over your shoulders, which are over your hips. Interlace your hands down by your tailbone. Press your knuckles towards the floor, lengthening your arm bones. And drop your shoulders down from your ears. I think that feels so nice. Unclasp your hands. We're going to shift into our airplane pose. Press into your left leg to lift up through your right. Fingertips reach back to the wall behind you. Let's come back into our Utkatasana. Bring your hands together, your feet down to the ground, your hips nice and low. And just sit here for some breaths. Squeezing into your legs, squeezing into your core, squeezing into your chest by pressing your palms together like you really mean it. Now notice your right foot. Press that right foot down into the ground. We're going to come back into our warrior three, our airplane pose. Take your left leg towards the wall behind you. Reach your fingertips towards the wall behind you. Long arms, long legs. Just really deliberate placement with your body. Let's bring our hands back together at our heart. And then we'll come into a half moon. We'll bring our right hand down towards the ground. Take your left hand up towards the ceiling. I want you to imagine like you're a piece of toast sliding down into a toaster, so you're all on the same plane. Come into a warrior two. So we're gonna teeter our spine back up. Place your left foot down on the ground behind you. Then take your arms forward and back for your warrior two. Flip your front hand up to the ceiling, reverse your warrior. And bring your elbow to your front thigh for high side angle. Take your left hand up to the ceiling. Press your arm down into your leg to help you rotate your spine open. Reverse the warrior, take your right hand up and back. And then archer pose, lengthen out both of your legs. Move into a triangle pose, reach your right hand forward and down, and then take your left hand up to the ceiling. Engage the core, come back up tall to a standing spine. Turn your toes so they all point to the left. And let's interlace our hands down by the tailbone. Inhale, press your knuckles down, lift your chest up, and then exhale, fold into a straddle fold. Release your hands down to the ground and take some movement by bending one knee at a time. Just let your hips kind of go from side to side, stretching out your inner legs. Come back up through center, bring your hands to your hip bones and stand up tall. Let's turn our feet to point back to the front of the mat. Step your back foot up about halfway. Gonna get ready for a pyramid pose. So we want about 12 inches of space between our feet. We'll inhale, reach your hands up overhead, and then exhale, fold your chest down towards your front thigh. Relax your head from your neck and shoulders. Your eyes, your tongue, your jaw. Soften into your knees and bring your back foot to meet your front foot. Take a halfway lift with an inhale and a forward fold with an exhale. Bring a bend into your right knee. Take your left fingertips up to the ceiling, big twist. On your exhale, fold forward and switch sides. Inhale, right hand lifts up, left knee bends. Exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana, bring your body up tall, head over shoulders. Let's put our hands right to our heart center. Sit down nice and low. See if you can sit any lower. And then start to feel into your left foot. Let's really anchor that left foot down. We're gonna move into an airplane pose, taking the right leg up and back. And stay at your heart center until you feel steady. Then you can extend back with your arms, reaching your fingertips back to the wall behind you. Stack up your bones. Let's reconnect our palms together at our heart. And then find a half moon. Put your left hand down on the ground or a block. Take your right hand up to the ceiling. Move this half moon into a warrior two. So just slow and steady, come upright, put your right foot down on the ground behind you, extend your arms forward and back. And just find good posture, find good support with your bones. From warrior two, let's flip the front hand up, reverse your warrior. And then high side angle, put your left elbow down on your left leg. Take your right hand up to the ceiling. Still keep your chest, very deliberate. We don't want to sink down into our left arm. Let's reverse the warrior. Take your left arm up and back. Then archer pose, long legs. And from archer into triangle, bring your left hand down to your left shin. Take your right hand up to the ceiling. Again, imagine that you're between two panes of glass or you're a piece of toast. You just want to make sure that everything is stacked. All kind of in a straight line on the same plane. Bring our spine back up tall. Turn your feet so that all your toes point over to the right side. Let's inhale this time, stretch, 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 and then fold your way forward into a straddle fold. Do what feels best here. If there's any movement that your body's asking for, play with it a little bit. If there's any stretches your body's asking for, I don't think it's random. I think that your body's telling you what it needs. So listen. Bring our hands to our hip bones and work your spine up to a tall standing position. Turn your feet to point to the top of your yoga mat and step your way forward. Close the gap between your feet. And we're going to come into a pyramid pose. So get your feet all set up, then take a breath in, reach for the ceiling, take a breath out to fold your chest towards your thigh. Soften your knees, slide your right foot forward to meet your left foot. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, folds you forward. Extended mountain pose. Press down, reach up for the ceiling. Big breath in. Big breath out, fold. Halfway lift, inhale. High plank, exhale, step your feet back. We're gonna hold this plank for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower your body to the ground using your knees or not. And then just put your right cheek down on the mat. Bring a bend into your knees and let your knees fall from side to side. Your heels fall from side to side. Notice what it feels like to have your body resting on the ground. Let's bring our opposite cheek down to the mat. If you want to be still, you can be still. If the movement feels good in your body, then keep that movement going. All right, let's bring our chin back to center. Take your legs long behind you. Reach your fingertips back to the wall behind you, and on an inhale, lift your chest and your legs up off the ground for locust pose. Press down into your pubic bone, pull your fingertips back, your shoulders back towards that back wall. On your next exhale, lower your right cheek, lower your body down to the ground. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then chin back to center. Let's lift up again. Inhale, locust pose, lift your body up. Take a couple of breaths here, really pressing your hips downward. Lifting upward with your legs, with your arms, with your chest. Take another breath in. On your exhale, lower down to the ground. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Let's do one more. Chin back to center. On your inhale, lift your body up off the ground. Press downward, lift upward. Feel that split, moving in opposite directions. Hold really steady. Take another breath in. And exhale, lower right cheek to the mat. Take your left leg out for a half frog. The left knee bends over to the left wall. Right ear, right cheek, right temple down on the ground. Take a little scan of your body and just see if there's anything more that you can let go. If there's any way you can make your bones any heavier, really settle downward towards the ground. Bring your awareness back to your intention, back to the seed that you want to plant, the thing that you want to grow. And hold that in your imagination. Hold it in your heart. Very slowly start to remove yourself from this side, work towards the other side. So we'll put left cheek down, right knee bends out to the side, slide your leg up to about hip level. One of my friends and colleagues last night told me she was in a mastermind class and they were talking about just moving towards your goals and manifesting your goals, getting what you set out to do. And she told me that she learned a new technique for visualization. I love visualization. She said that when you have something in mind that you're trying to accomplish or facilitate or grow, then spend some time thinking about just imagining yourself telling one of your favorite people about your accomplishment and like feel what that feels like in your heart. And that can be just enough motivation to help you really take the steps needed in order to make that thing come true or make it real. And for some reason, I immediately just thought of the different things I'm trying to do and telling my grandpa about it, who's not Earthside anymore. He passed away in 2011, but just even that idea of working towards something, accomplishing that thing, and then going and excitedly sharing the news with someone that I care about so much. It was just really powerful. So I encourage you to play with all different kinds of visualizations, but if that one feels good to you, then play with that one. Let's slowly start to move our bodies out of this stretch. We'll bring our chin back to center, hands to either side of the chest. Let's roll through a few more of those cobra to child's pose. So we'll lift up the chest. Exhale, move your hips back to your heels. Take a couple forward, backward movements with your own body, your own breath. With your next inhale, your next cobra pose, work your body to downward facing dog. Press down into the ground to take your hips up high. Any extra little wiggles you want to make with your feet, take them. We're going to start to work into a half pigeon on our right side. So take your right leg up to the ceiling, bend your knee, bring your heel towards your bum. Take a moment to open up that hip. And then slowly but surely pull your right knee through towards your right wrist. Set your hips down on the ground. Position yourself to honor your body while we're in this stretch, and then release your way forward. So this week in particular doesn't have a whole lot of astrology. We are in the building phase. We just came out of a new moon. We do have Sun and Jupiter, Mercury and Venus interacting. And that kind of energy is usually, Jupiter and Venus usually just feel really good. Sun and Jupiter together kind of makes me think of the genie from Aladdin. And just that really exuberant kind of energy. It's generous, it's optimistic, it's kind of loud, and like it's got horns and flashy songs that go along with it. So if a child was born today with this kind of energy, that person would probably have some qualities like Genie from Aladdin. They'd just be bubbly, they'd be fun to be around, strong force of personality, probably pretty optimistic, probably pretty generous, probably pretty willing to, help out. But everything, it sits on a spectrum. So when we feel really good, when we feel really generous, when we feel really optimistic, we can take that to an extreme level as well. And we can overshare. We can overshare our resources, our time, our energy. We can overshare information. We can overcommit to things that maybe if we didn't feel so good, we wouldn't say yes to. So with all of this feel-good energy this week, I want you to practice your discernment as well. You feel generous and feel like giving and sharing, just make sure that it's appropriate. You're not like diminishing your own, you're not harming yourself in the process of being generous, being optimistic, being, just exuberant and abundant and enthusiastic. Very slowly start to come up. Walk your hands in, lift your spine up, swing your back leg around out in front of you. Leave your right foot tucked in to your left thigh. And let's put the left hand down on top of the left leg. Take your right arm up and over. Big, big, big reach. Back to neutral spine. Let's put our right hand down behind us. Lift your hips up off the ground. Reach your left hand back. Open up your chest. Let's lower our hips back down to the ground. Nice tall spine. Shoulders point in the direction that your leg is pointing. Then very slowly crawl your way forward, lowering your chest down towards your front leg. I think that there's something really important about this feel good energy. I think that when we feel good, we are more likely to operate from our heart. And I think when we operate from our heart, we're always in the right place at the right time. And that is another way that I like to think of this Jupiter influencing the sun. So you're just in the right place at the right time. And if you get caught up in, well, I should be doing this and I need to be doing that, and you make things so rigid that you can't bend, you can't feel the pull of your heart nudging you in the right direction to be in the right place at the right time. So I think this feel good energy is really important, and I think that we should all make it a point to play with it a little bit at some point this week. If you don't feel it, I think that's just as valuable as if you do feel it. You can start to think about your personal joy, your optimism, where those things come from. Can we source them any differently? That, you know, in a way that is more nurturing to us, or is a better, just a better like source. Let's lift our spine back up, swing the legs around behind you. We'll come back into our downward facing dog. Take your left leg up to the ceiling, roll your hip open. And then pull your left leg through. Set yourself up, lower your hips down to the ground, place your left leg, do what you need to do to set yourself up for a good stretch here, and then slowly, slowly make your way forward. If a person was born today, and I'm sure that many are, like I said before, they would have this kind of Jupiter energy, which is a bit like Santa Claus. It's a bit like Oprah. It's very generous. It's very giving. It's very just abundant, expansive. This would be one of those kinds of people that no matter what obstacles or setbacks they face, like they're always willing to get back up and try again. The setbacks might even like motivate them to keep trying. It's not that like this energy can be very lucky, and it doesn't prevent obstacles. It just gives you the exuberance to like rise again and try again and not let it get you down. So I think that this energy is just available. If a person is born with it, then like I think it's just around all day. I think you can tune your little radio wires in your brain to match that frequency and play with that skill set if you want to. Let's slowly start to walk our way back up, lifting your spine up. Swing your back leg around so it comes out into the front of you. And put our right hand down, take your left arm up and over, big side body stretch. And then place your left hand down behind you. Lift your hips up off the ground, reach your right hand back, open up your chest. And then set your hips back to the floor, square your shoulders to your front leg, and slowly fold your way forward. Bring our spines back up tall. Take both of your legs out in front of you. Put your hands below your sit bones. We're gonna lean back into a fish pose. So we'll bring our elbows and forearms down. Press up, lifting your chest up, let your head fall back. Very slowly, you start to lower your body down. Take your arms open into a T. Bring a bend into your knees. We're gonna drop our legs over to the left and eyes over to the right. If you'd like to cross your legs, that's always an option. Come back to that thing, that seed that you planted, the thing you'd like to grow. And engage again your imagination. Pull it over. Imagine what steps are needed in order to make that thing more tangible, make it more real. Or maybe you really like that visualization of telling a loved one about your accomplishment. Let's move our legs over to the other side. So take our legs to the right and then eyes to the left. Slow and steady, work your spine back to neutral. Untangle your legs, bring your knees in towards your chest. Take a couple circles with your knees around your hips. Work your way back to center. Give yourself a squeeze. Lift your nose upward towards your knees. And then release head, neck, and shoulders down to the ground. We will rest for about a minute and a half in Shavasana. So any shape really you would like, you can do triple diamond, you can do legs up the wall, you can do Shavasana, your choice. Settle into your final resting pose and come back again. I feel like a broken record, but come back to the visualization of your choice. Maybe you just imagine a seed rooting underground and the roots coming down, a little blade shooting upward towards the sky. Maybe it's imagining telling your loved ones and celebrating your success. Maybe you use your breath. You inhale that thing that you want. You exhale everything that is not that. Start to move fingers and toes. You've taken any different shapes, stretch your way out nice and long. Take your arms over your head. Big breath in, stretch. Big breath out, relax. Find your way up to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall, relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, bring a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly, and just pause, offer up a prayer of gratitude, of confidence. I know I can do this. Thank you for the possibility, whatever feels good. Then connect your hands together at your heart. With all my love and all my gratitude, namaste.